In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can run your Amazon business from anywhere in the world. And as we talk about that, I'm also going to be breaking down the exact things that I've implemented in my business so that I only have to work about 2 or 3 hours a day on my 7-figure Amazon business. If you're brand new to the channel, my name's Warner Fields from Fields of Profit. I'm a full-time 7-figure Amazon seller, and something I'm extremely passionate about within my own Amazon business, something I was kind of thinking about as we're going into the holiday season, is that over the time I'm traveling and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to have to worry at all about making money, right? I don't have to go to a job. I don't have to be in person, all that kind of stuff. It's just such a nice freedom to have with your Amazon business. You can run it from anywhere. And with the way my personal business is structured, I really haven't seen a lot of the stuff that I've sold for honestly about a year now. So I want to go ahead and break down the major things that you need to implement in your business so that you can kind of step back a little bit, be a business owner, and also buy back your time through your Amazon business. Before we jump into that, if you're brand new to the channel or want even more free resources to learn how to sell on Amazon, link directly beneath me is going to be our completely free Amazon seller Discord community. There's over 40,000 people in there sharing a ton of free information. Would love to see you in there, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. So the first thing I want to go ahead and break down so you can start buying back your time or not even having to see your products at all is using a prep center. I'm a really big fan of using a prep center in my own Amazon business. And so if you're not familiar with what a prep center is, basically anytime I buy inventory, I ship it off to a couple different prep centers and they prep the inventory for me, ship it off to Amazon on my behalf, and then Amazon makes the sale, ships it out to customers. So because of that system, I never have to ship the items to my actual house. I don't have to see the products or anything like that. And that allows me to focus a lot more time on building the systems of my business, sourcing profitable product instead of throwing stuff in a box, putting the label on it. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty here in a second, some stuff you probably haven't heard about prep centers before. But before we do that, I do want to add the caveat that if you're a brand new Amazon seller, maybe you're selling $1,000 a month, like something like that right now, I would not jump into using a prep center unless you have a full-time job, you're making really good income, then I might be able to see the case for it. But generally it's going to be the much better route to go ahead and skip the prep center, do all the work yourself at the beginning, especially if you don't have a lot of money, because the prep centers are expensive. It's going to cost at least like $1 a unit for every product you ship out. So if you're kind of adding that up and doing the math, a lot of times it's going to be way cheaper, and you're going to be able to grow your money much faster as a small seller if you skip the prep center, at least at the start. With that caveat in mind, if you're the other side of that coin, let's say you're crushing on Amazon right now, you're doing all of your prep work in-house, you're shipping it to your actual house, you're shipping it out to Amazon, and it's limiting the amount of time that you can actually go out and spend money on inventory. Kind of the good litmus test that I like to use is, am I spending my time putting stickers on things that I should be using my time to go spend a couple $1,000? If you're ever spending time labeling where you know you should be sourcing, you've got money sitting where you need to be going sourcing, that's when it's time to go get a prep center. Usually that mark is going to be somewhere around like the 20,000, maybe upwards of 50,000 a month range, just depending on the types of products you're selling. And really for any Amazon business, outsourcing prep is usually going to be the most common first step you should take. It's a lot easier for you to outsource prep, kind of putting stickers on things, because sourcing products and going out and finding inventory is a much higher value skill than putting stickers on things. So it makes a lot more sense to outsource the prep work before the sourcing. I know a lot of people kind of get a virtual assistant, but I would really recommend that you use a prep center before you start outsourcing anything to virtual assistants or anything like that for your product sourcing. And so with that in mind, now that you're ready to go out and start finding a prep center, I would honestly just go ahead and Google like Amazon FBA prep center. And from here, you're going to find a bunch of lists. So something like this, it looks like you got 50 something rows. And there's probably a couple other prep centers here, 200 on this list. And so on these websites, I would just start going down the list here, figure out what is important to you. So for a lot of us, we're doing online arbitrage. So that would be here. A lot of these different prep centers don't support online arbitrage sellers. A lot of them just cater towards wholesale and private label sellers. So that would be something you definitely want to keep in mind. Another thing that is going to be really useful for you if you're an online arbitrage seller is having the prep center be sales tax free. So on a list like this, they've kind of neatly sorted that out for us. So I'd probably go ahead and contact a lot of these sales tax free prep centers. And then the last thing that I kind of want to mention here is the communication skills of your prep center is by far the most important part. Obviously the cost savings, all that kind of stuff. But once you've kind of got it down to a couple different prep centers, maybe the cost is the same price. If one of them has better service for you, if you can get a direct line to the owner, the direct line to someone who's going to be handling your inventory all the time, that's going to be extremely important. Being able to communicate with your prep center is imperative because they're almost your business partner at some point, because all of your inventory is going through them. So you're going to need to be able to send them a text, say, hey, what happened to these units here? Or, hey, we're limited on storage units in this type of category. Let's stay away from that. Let's focus on other categories. All that kind of stuff is going to be really useful. And so I would just go ahead and start opening up a lot of these prep centers here. If you do have connections in the Amazon seller community, if you want to drop it, any questions in like the roadmap Discord or the Amazon Launchpad Discord, you can say, hey, has anyone anyone used Boxset before? And somebody might say, yeah, don't use them, they're horrible. So use the community when you're looking for a prep center. But a lot of people are going to be a little bit secretive about the prep centers that they're using. I don't share the prep center that I use for a lot of my stuff just because it's a smaller prep center. I don't want to saturate it, all that kind of stuff. So it is going to be a little bit tricky to find a good prep center. I know a lot of people end up going through a lot of different prep centers on their way to finding the one that they actually like to use. If you do want a good starting place, I would recommend looking at iLogistics. They're not sales tax free. They're in Florida. Florida is sales tax exempt on vitamins and grocery. So I've been working with these guys for quite a while. They're a really big prep center, so I don't mind name dropping them. But we still send stuff to iLogistics right here all the time. They've always been pretty communicative, pretty quick. A lot of times we'll send stuff here when we know we need to get it out in a hurry. So if you need a starting place, check out here. Also look at these third-party lists here. And I would recommend just going ahead and emailing as many of these companies as possible. Try to learn, if they have a wait list or if they're open right now. And then after you do that, get on a Zoom call with them, get on a phone call with them, anything like that, so you can talk to a real person and just talk to them about specific questions that really apply to your business. Because like I said, these prep centers are almost a business partner to you. So maybe if you're someone who sells a bunch of shoes, say, hey, what are your rates on shoes? What kind of prep work do you guys do on shoes? And you do the same thing for whatever categories you are really focusing on. Really, it's important to kind of make sure that they're good at what you're going to send them, right? So after you've gone ahead and reached out to some prep centers, maybe go ahead and look at iLogistics here. I'm going to just quickly show you how the actual back end of using a prep center works. So let's say you find this product right here. SellerAmp's telling us we need to pay $7 for it to be profitable here. So let's say we found this product, we're going to pay $7 for it. All is great, right? And so from here, a lot of the prep centers are going to be able to communicate with you through a Google Sheet. And so something that I do in my business is I have my custom spreadsheet within SellerAmp set up over here. So I can just press prep center. And then let's say it sends it over here to the sample prep sheet. So with that in mind, it's going to send over a lot of this different data that we just punched in here. Kind of saves me a little bit of effort, communicates that information with the prep center. So let's say we bought 10 units of this. When the prep center actually receives this inventory, they're going to say, yep, we got all 10, looks good. Or they're going to say, hey, we only got 9. And then you're going to be like, all right, time to go email the website. Like, hey, we ordered 10. Why do we only get 9? That kind of stuff. Obviously putting in the name, the ASIN, the UPC is going to help your prep center figure out which product they actually are. You're also going to want to punch in the cost per unit that you paid for your items. This is exactly what the prep sheet that I use with iLogistics looks like. So let's say we paid $7. That's going to export straight from SellerAmp over here. And then the list price. And this is just within the back end of SellerAmp. I have it set to list at like a 200% ROI or something like that. They'll list it at that. And then when the item actually goes in and checks in at Amazon, I'll bump the price down because I don't want to make sales that are way, way cheaper than I should be making them, right? And a lot of times as inventory gets shipped in, prices will raise and lower, all that good stuff. So I just like to set my prices pretty high while they're on the way in. You could also make any special notes. So maybe, hey, this is a 2-pack, keep that in mind. It's a 2-pack. Or you can also punch in your supplier. So I would definitely recommend doing that. So this is Clinique. So maybe we just bought this from the Clinique website, we could say. So there we could say the Clinique. If you want to have them use a custom SKU, which I do, I have our SKU set up so that it includes the supplier name, includes the price, and then the month we bought it in, just to kind of make sure as I'm going through and repricing my inventory, I know where we bought it, how much I paid for it, so I can know kind of wiggle room I have in my pricing as I'm going through and repricing some of this inventory here. And so once you punch in a lot of that information here on your Google Sheet, you're pretty much done from there. Again, you're going to want to make sure you're communicating with your prep center, making sure nothing's going wrong. Another thing I would recommend setting up is a tab that looks like this. Again, we do this with iLogistics specifically. We have them scan in the UPC. They punch in, hey, this UPC wasn't on your prep sheet. We got, maybe we got 5 units of it. Maybe if they add a little bit of notes, that kind of stuff. And then over here, I'll say, all right, I found it for whatever reason. Maybe, Academy shipped us the wrong size of that shoe or something like that. So I would go ahead and add it in here to the main sheet and just, let's say Clinique sent me the wrong type of makeup. A lot of times I'll just go in and find the makeup that they sent me. A lot of times the item is still going to be profitable, at least close to profitable. A lot easier than going through the return process a lot of times. So I'll just go ahead and add that product into my main sheet over here and then say, hey, we added that product to line 3. And then from there, they're going to know that UPC correlates to the product that's now on line 3. It's that brand new. Maybe they sent us the wrong thing. So I would recommend setting something up like that. You're definitely going to get websites sending you the wrong item. It's just part of the business. So make sure you're communicating that kind of stuff with the prep center. But that's kind of the bare basics of using a prep center to kind of buy some of your time back. And so now that we've talked about that, I want to briefly touch on using some virtual assistants. Virtual assistants going to be more applicable to really anyone's Amazon business as you're trying to buy your time back a little bit. Using your business as a business is something I'm extremely passionate about. I know a lot of people are out there still haven't hired anybody after years in the business, still have not built systems to run their business for them after years in the business. I don't want that to be you. If you're starting a business, use the business as a business. If you want to go work at a job, go get a really good job. So at least my personal philosophy, I'm going to outsource and hire as much stuff as I possibly can so I can move on to the next thing. Using prep centers is a great way to do that. And then using virtual assistants is another great way to do that. And so if you don't know what a virtual assistant is, basically you can hire people from, usually it's going to be overseas, Colombia, the Philippines, stuff like that. And so within this website, onlinejobs.ph, this is the website we pretty much use to hire all of our virtual assistants. I would just go ahead and maybe you can plug in online arbitrage here. And now you can see that there's there's 10,000 people that mention online arbitrage in their resume or something like that, you could kind of scroll through here and see what kind of experience a lot of these people have, start to reach out to them. Again, trying to buy your time back, trying to teach them how you source products so that you don't have to be the only one to source your products, right? Because that eventually in your business, you're going to run into a point where you're not able to spend all the money that you have. It's going to be an awesome problem, but you're going to need outside help to spend all the money that you have available to you on profitable products. And this is a great way to kind of hire some help. I have a personal team of about 8 virtual assistants that just kind of source products, help grow our Amazon business. And that's something I'm extremely passionate about within my own business, kind of buying my time back, all that good stuff. On this website, there is kind of a $70 membership fee. A lot of times you can just pay the membership, list a job application, and then once you do get a qualified candidate, you can just cancel that monthly membership or whatever. And do keep in mind that when you do post a job, so you can post a job over here with this button, and do keep in mind that when you do post a job right here, it's very, very simple. You just kind of fill in a little bit of information here, post job. A lot of times I would say, something along like, must know how to use Keepa, must know how to use SellerAmp, and then the rest, we would kind of train people on that kind of stuff. Really, it's up to your own personal preference. If you want to look for a candidate who's had multiple years of experience sourcing products and you want to pay them a little bit extra for that privilege, you can go for it. If you want to find somebody who's a little bit new, they'd be a little bit cheaper. You could train them up, all that kind of stuff. Really up to your own business making decisions there. But kind of leveraging the 2 things we've talked about, kind of using the prep centers over here, leveraging virtual assistants. Those are 2 of the best ways that I know how to kind of start buying your time back, try to run your business from anywhere. The way that I have my business set up, I could pretty much be anywhere in the world. And that's a privilege that I really, really like about selling on Amazon. So make sure you're using your Amazon business for that privilege, especially if you've been selling on Amazon for a little bit. Make sure that you continue to make steps towards your Amazon business being an actual business and not just kind of a hustle. And so if you're watching this video and you're ready to kind of start taking your Amazon business seriously, start to hire the virtual assistants, start to look into prep centers, maybe start to spend more and more money on product, I would really love to meet you and get to know your business so that I can start helping you build a plan on specifically where and how to source your profitable products, how to start hiring a team to run a lot of stuff for you, and understanding your repricing, restocking, all that stuff that's really, really important as you scale your business into 6-7 figures in revenue on Amazon. So if that's you and you want my direct insight on all that kind of stuff, you can apply for Lightspeed FBA right down below. Been having a lot of fun helping those coaching clients make a ton of money on Amazon. If you guys did get a bunch of value out of today's video, please feel free to help me out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Those are great free ways to help me out for sharing value with you guys. If you do have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop those down below as well. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.